That makes sense. All right, so we're going me, you, Lizzie, Steve.
We're doing a Z.
We're doing a Z.
ZZ.
Fancy. Cool. And, all right. We ready?
What's the name of it again?
Keep it simple.
Stupid.
Are we doing the noise cancellation?
Yes.
Are we
Green.
Everybody's green.
Everybody's green. All right.
Did you guys know that green's my favorite color?
Is it really?
We do now.
Green's my favorite color, and Ocean Avenue is my favorite song.
Place off Ocean Avenue.
How do those two correlate in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know. Everyone has favorites.
She just wanted us to have two pieces of information.
21 is my lucky number.
Stowed away.
Icebreakers. Two fun facts.
2 fun facts. Go for it.
21 is my lucky number. I already gave you 3, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go for it.
I was on a recreational travel league for duckpin bowling as a kid.
Wait.
There was nowhere. I wasn't sure
I don't understand anything of what you just
where
said.
you
What?
were going with that. Like I heard recreational, and I was like,
So duckpin bowling.
It's the small
Duckpin
thing.
bowling is only a Mid-Atlantic thing. The ball's like this big.
Uh-huh.
You get 3 rolls per frame instead of 2.
Have you never seen this?
And I was on a travel league as a kid from like the age of like probably like 9 until like 16.
And what's your second icebreaker? If you start off that
That's a doozy by itself. You
That
can
is a doozy.
just take that and be happy.
Steve?
Oh God.
Steve's white.
Oh God.
That's wrong.
Yeah, that's about it. We'll just leave it there. Gio?
2 icebreakers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 1.
I was really close to being on Sesame Street.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Were
I
you going to be a
auditioned.
Muppet? No, I didn't mean that.
You just got real vulnerable with
I
us.
know.
And you just like
I opened up.
you like drop kicked his heart.
You being a Muppet? Anyway, on that note, welcome back to Fail Better, Suck Less, a podcast with all things fitness related, nice and chill, laid back on the couch, just chilling. We have our owner here, gym owner John Weeks. We have Coach Lizzie Hope. We have Coach Steve Smith, and yours truly, Giovanni.
What do you do here?
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Currently, he hosts.
I mean, I'm
Currently,
coach.
I
you're
host
coach.
this podcast. I am the voice of Tough Temple.
Ooh, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's topic. We're going over just keeping it simple. Very much like this podcast, very chill, very relaxed, but we're going to go through one by one, and we're just going to talk about the top 3 simple things that you can do to get results from your training. So we all wrote down a couple of things, and we're going to go in a very zigzag formation, right? Starting with you, Lizzie?
I'm starting with John.
Yeah.
Starting with John, so sorry.
Building in importance.
Building importance. So starting with less important and working our way up. First one I have.
mean, you
sorry?
mean the topics, not people.
Gio's face.
Gotcha.
Wow, you're right.
Well, no, I mean,
I don't think anybody thought that.
Yeah,
I did. Gio's face.
Gio's been here too long,
Yeah,
everybody.
that's-
Yes, in terms of topic importance.
correct,
yes.
correct. All right, so John, how about you dig us out?
All
of
right,
this
so
hole?
my third topic was drink more water and less of everything else. I think this is a very, very simple one, but a lot of people do not drink enough water. Even people that think they drink enough water do not drink enough water. Very few people drink too much water, which can be a thing. Make sure you're getting enough salt. But other than that, cutting out the other things like the sugary drinks and the alcohol, if you replace that with water, you will recover better and feel better overall.
Quick question. Quick question. How
question.
many of these should we drink a day? Roughly.
At least 3.
How many is, what is that?
Is that
I
a
don't know.
liter?
Is that 36?
I don't know.
32?
Let's go with 36.
Then more. So I try to do 3 liters a day, but everybody's different. But really, you should be drinking water anytime you're thirsty.
Cool.
What do you think of those huge water jugs that have like
Like
you
the
should be
whole day
here-
mapped out.
Exactly.
If they were.
I mean, if it makes you drink more water, yeah. I think very few people actually drink enough water, and even like for weight loss, for example, if you drink more water, a lot of times you will retain less water
Yeah.
because you have more water just flowing through your system all the time.
And if you're taking creatine,
Definitely. Yeah. Anytime you're doing anything that's going to tax your kidneys, you want more fluids.
Water.
For sure. For sure.
All right.
That's it.
Does Diet Coke count as water?
No.
Coffee, I heard. 1 cup of coffee you can count as water.
Can you though?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, it's a diuretic, but it doesn't actually significantly dehydrate you.
Oh,
I count 1 cup of coffee. I don't count my 4. I count 1.
gotcha.
But if you're counting coffee, you probably drink more water.
Oh, I definitely, yeah.
All right.
All right. My turn.
You're up, sir.
Mine is pretty straightforward. It's treat yourself. Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge your accomplishments. I think I hear it most from a lot of members who are maybe starting off or have hit a plateau. They can be really hard on themselves, where it's like constantly trying to just demean their progress or what they're doing. You know, like, yeah, you hit this plateau. This plateau is amazing. You know, like you've hit a certain point in your training. Be nice to yourself. Treat yourself. Go out, celebrate these little things. I think that's worth acknowledging. That's worth recognizing in your own training, and that to me keeps me going. You know, it keeps me sane as well for my training.
Cool. Yeah.
No, I think that's the negative self-talk is something that's been beat into a lot of us for a very long time. So having a place where you feel comfortable acknowledging your own progress is important for sure.
I think we see enough of our members like on a day-to-day basis where we see it, or we've seen them for 3 months. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Your engine has significantly gotten better.
Yeah. And well, they don't necessarily see the progress, right? It's like the thing where they talk about like looking at yourself in the mirror every day. You don't see it when it's just all the time in front of your face, but then you go back and you look at like a picture from like 6 months ago, you're like,
Yeah.
whoa. You know, we, I think, see it because we know to look more for the objective things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're moving more weight. Oh, you're running at a faster pace, whatever it is. But having that reminder from the coach or your support system or whoever, I think is super important.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
especially like if you take programming into account, right? You're looking at maybe 8+ weeks of a cycle,
Easily.
right?
Yeah.
So over the period of that, time when you test and then retest,
Yep.
measuring your fitness there is probably more important than the day in day out of did I do well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And treat
You
yourself.
definitely-
Buy yourself that Metcon 9. Buy yourself that extra set
That's
of
2
Vori.
times you plugged them.
Vori.
Okay,
Rory.
now we're
Did I
branching
definitely-
out. Now we're
Love
branching
it.
out.
You definitely see it a lot in weightlifting though, like especially when people are learning to weightlift, they're so hard on themselves. And I remind people all the time, like I've been doing this for a long time and I still don't do it right 100% of the time. So yeah, definitely acknowledge where you started and where you are.
For sure.
Buy yourself Lulu. I guess it's my turn.
It is.
I'm the third point of the Z. We're going to take our recovery days seriously. We've talked about this in previous podcasts, but like when you work out, you break your muscle down. And in order to actually get stronger and build your muscle up, they need to recover 8 hours of sleep, water, keeping your stress at a certain level, eating the right foods, eating the right amount of foods. Take your recovery seriously.
I don't think enough people really understand what like recovery is, and sometimes active recovery is
Yeah.
a full-blown workout. And I'm like,
Go for a walk.
step away from the gym or come in here and stretch.
Do some animal flow.
Hey,
There you go. Let's go.
what do you think on that? Like
animal
recovery,
flow? It
well,
dep- it depends
recovery,
on-
especially for you today.
Yeah, so,
Which you
so
did.
today was my first workout back since my cancer surgery. Did a little bit animal flow and did a little bit of running on the air runner. It was hard.
Can we edit the surveillance video of him doing animal flow in here right now?
Yes, 100%.
Yes. Okay.
It was taxing for sure. I think a lot of it, but in general, moving your body is always a good idea. But I think a big part of it for to make it a recovery or a rest day, get out of your own head about how fast are you going, how much weight are you moving, are you competing with anyone else? Like just move your body for the sake of it feeling good, and like maybe enough to break a little bit of a sweat just so that you are going to get some like things happening hormonally in your body to help recover, but it should not be intense, right? Most of what we do in here is very intense, and you can actually do that too much very easily. So having that time to like mentally and physically unplug, it's important for sure.
Yeah. So my topic here is going to be just being open to feedback. Coaches are there to help you. Other members in the gym are there to help you. They are there for encouragement. Just because you do something one way and you've been doing it that way your whole career or journey through CrossFit or whatever it may be, doesn't mean it's necessarily the best way or the most efficient way. They all want to see you do better. So sometimes being a little bit humble and accepting that I don't know everything. It's important.
I mean, I think the question is, why are you here, right? If you're in a gym like this, it would be because you want the coaching, I would think, right? Otherwise, join a Globo gym and go do your thing over in the corner, right? But yeah, no, I think that feedback is super important. And it's also, I would apply it even more so to coaches too. So when you've been doing this for a long time, it's so easy to get stuck in your own routine, doing your own program on the off hours, whatever. The second you get real feedback from somebody that's paying attention, it will help expose things that you're glossing over or avoiding big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can I add one more topic? It's like expansion. Ask questions. If you don't know why we are saying something, or if you don't know why something's written the way it is, ask.
Yeah.
Because we are happy to talk to you about it. But
More
you
than
won't
happy.
know if you feel like you're afraid to ask those questions,
Yeah.
because I'm sure other people in the room probably have that same thought.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. I mean, we know what it looks like when someone has a question. Standing in a room coaching,
Yeah.
I can look at someone and be like, just ask the question.
Right.
I can see that you're thinking
Yeah.
what.
Sometimes,
so just ask
but
it.
I'll get surprised sometimes. People will throw something out, and I'll be like, I had no idea that you
Yeah.
did not know how to do this. Like, you've been here this long.
Yeah.
It can surprise you.
Yeah.
It's definitely important. And I think that having, again, the comfort of, if I bring this out, I'm not going to get, clowned for it or something
Right.
like that. It's like, that's a big part of
Right.
it. It's like that's kind of the culture of coaching, right? It's like you want people to ask, but if people are intimidated to ask,
Yeah.
they're not going to ask.
They're not gonna ask.
So
And it's
ask.
ask. That's very specific also. I feel as a coach that when I've gotten like feedback from you, who you're always like at the noon class, it helps. And at first I think it's always jarring a little bit to your pride, to your ego, because I want to say for the most part, like, yo, I thought I was doing great. It's like, for the most part, yeah, you are. Here's this one little bit that you could fine tune.
Yeah.
There's always something that you can improve
Always.
on. And just getting that little bit of feedback presented in a way that's also constructive, right? If you're going to just break somebody down, you can ruin that kind of relationship and being, setting up that means for anybody to come up to you.
Right.
So I think it's hella important.
Yeah.
Your
And,
approach is everything.
and I think that it's, if you make the analogy to your fitness, right? If you spend the majority of your time on the things that you are weakest in, you're going to make the most progress. And the same thing's true as a coach. Like, if you really lean into the things that you struggle with, you're going to make the most progress as a coach also. Right.
We're gonna pull Uno reverse.
Yeah, my turn.
Uno reverse.
My turn.
Okay.
I'm doing my
Oh,
second most
okay,
important
that's great.
because it fits in really well with the second most important thing to keep things simple is work your weakness.
Hey,
What?
nice call.
John tried to steal my
Audible.
thunder.
Sorry.
Took it back. Work your weakness. The best like example I can give of this is we see a lot of people in here, in this gym specifically, that have issues with overhead squatting, whatever the issue may be. What do we tell people every time?
Empty bar.
Empty bar, 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 10 for warm up every day, or every time that you're in here
Pause
warming
on
up.
the bottom.
Pause in the bottom. Work it. Work your weaknesses. I know me personally, single leg is super. I need to work that a lot more. So like lunges, split squats, single leg deadlifts. Like, just work your weaknesses. Just whatever you're bad at, do more of it, and you'll probably end up liking it eventually. Maybe.
I mean, I think especially for your weaknesses, once it makes sense, then you start enjoying it. Then
Yeah.
you're able to kind of go, oh,
Yeah.
this Katrin David Stutter in one of the Fittest on Earth documentaries, she talks about the snatch and about it being this majestic, beautiful lift. Like, once it's up in the air and whatever exactly she says. But
I've been doing it wrong my whole life.
Well, when I first started CrossFit, I was going, I hate the snatch.
Yeah.
Everything about the snatch. I never feel this. I never, ever feel this. But once I got good coaching,
Mhm.
once it made sense, I was going, now it makes sense. Now it feels that way.
Yeah.
But you have to work on it.
You have to work it a
you
lot.
know? And it's going to be
Yeah.
frustrating. I probably there's more sessions that are going to be more frustrating
Mhm.
than probably constructive at
Yeah.
the beginning, but you just got to keep
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any better feeling as an athlete though, like doing a workout that would have crushed you 6 months or a year ago because it had like 3 things that you were terrible at
Yep.
in it, and then you do that workout and you're like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Flight simulator.
It's like flight simulator, good example. It's like can't get past 5 ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
For
Start
those of
small.
you, who don't know, Flight Simulator is dubs. So
Nothing
double
but dubs.
Nothing but
Nothing
nothing.
and it's
but
got to
dubs.
be unbroken.
Increasing by 5s, right?
Yeah, so 5 all the way up to 50
And then back down.
and back down, but every set has to be unbroken.
So
And you
I
have
should
to
start
stop.
doing that twice a week, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
Right. And you have to stop in between. So it's
Yeah.
And do
5.
what?
Stop. Well, no, just like you
You
can't
rest
just go
as
5
needed
into
between
10.
sets.
So it's unbroken until it's not, and then it's
No, it's unbroken.
You
Then you
just-
rest between sets.
Got it.
So you basically rest as much as you feel like
Got
you
it.
need to. Just keep it unbroken
Yeah.
on the
I
next
would
set.
tell people that, like, okay, you got to 20 unbroken, right? If you mess up on your attempt to 25, you
go
gotta
back down. I'll do that.
That's
I'll do
just
that starting
mean.
tomorrow.
Scared.
Why?
That's
Why are
just
you
being
like this?
mean.
Yeah.
I told him I was kidding afterwards.
Yeah.
but-
All right.
All right.
So am I going back on this one now?
Yep.
Okay. So this one is actually one that I was terrible at until relatively recently, but have a hard stop time at night. So when you're getting ready to go to bed, have a time that is set in your schedule that all the screens go away
Mhm.
and you start your evening routine, whatever that is. By having that as a pretty firm rule, your quality of sleep is going to go through the roof. You're also going to find that you're not really any less productive. Most of the stuff that you're doing in that last hour to 2 hours, you can easily do the next day. So it makes you more efficient with the time that you have, and you're going to wake up feeling way better.
1000%.
Nailed it on the head.
And you know what? Your phones have an option of literally just shutting down all notifications.
Literally.
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 Do I
feel
say
like-
that often? Is that
You
why
say
you're making-
literally all the time.
Anyway, so
I feel like that side of the couch is like very good at this, and then the night owls over here.
What are you talking about? I'm not always on my phone.
it's I think it's really important. Put your phone on that bedtime app.
But then
or
how can I
whatever,
text you?
You know,
All the time.
that's why I ignore you. Just turn off your notifications. You don't, after a certain point, you really don't need to be responding to anything, emails, whatever it may be. And I think this also goes for people's work life as well,
Mhm.
right? You have to be able to turn off work and leave it at that. I'm not going to go too much into that, but some of y'all need to go to sleep and stop taking work home,
Mhm.
and Instagram and TikTok and whatever.
I don't have TikTok, so you're not talking to me.
You're up.
Item number 2.
Item number 2. Focusing on mobility and full range of motion before loading or adding more things on. I think, at least for me, that's been a very significant factor for just my training overall. My ankle mobility, my hip flexor mobility, being comfortable at the bottom of an overhead squat, which is what we talk about, constantly, right? So in my classes, when we do our warm up and we're warming up with the PVC, it's so great seeing the classes just sit under the PVC for the amount of time that we do. And it's because ankle mobility has been focused on. It's because we've opened up our hips. But, if you're finding for whatever lift, whatever movement it may be, and you're barely managing it, at least for me, what I have found is I'd rather focus on those specifics, making sure the lift looks clean, it looks the way it should be, whether it's toe to bars, whether it's pull-ups, whatever it be. I want to focus on that first instead of just going, okay, I barely got my pull-ups, now I got to get chest to bar. Take slow steps.
Well, it's
focus
just like
on one.
it's like we have this with snatch a lot, right? Where people can power snatch more than they can squat snatch.
Yes.
And instead of fixing it early, they'll continue to power snatch until they can't.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back and try to fix the last 3 years of not knowing how to squat snatch.
And how do you do that when you you can get this huge power snatch over your head,
Mhm.
and then you have to go back down to the barbell.
It's just accepting the humility piece of it, and I think that's a huge part of your longevity as an athlete. If you can be humble enough to be coached and be humble enough to take the load down, do the pause work, do the technique work, do the tempo work, do all of the things that are like the unsexy things that don't add weight to the bar today, but they'll add weight to the bar 3 years from now.
Yeah.
It pays dividends. And really, if you think about it from a longevity standpoint, like when we're all 80, 90, 100 years old, if we can still do like a full depth squat or a full depth lunge or reach over our head like this, like we're healthier than 99.9% of the general population.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I have older clients who I train who are in their 70s. And to your point of like, give yourself credit and do that kind of thing. The fact that she can do like walking lunges unassisted across
Yeah,
the floor, most 70-year-olds can't do that, you know? But I think that that's kind of lost in the short term for a lot of people. So just having that end in mind, I think is super helpful.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it?
No, it's to me. Yeah. So my topic for training with a purpose. A lot of people come into barbell or they'll come to CrossFit and they just want to sweat. That's awesome, right? You're increasing your fitness. That is your purpose, right? If you are doing a barbell program with us, you are focusing on the technique to move the barbell more efficiently. The weight will follow, right? When you're in CrossFit, if you're trying to increase your aerobic capacity, that is your purpose, right? Do not get caught up in trying to do everything under the sun at the same time, because you're going to do, A, you're probably going to burn yourself out. And then B, you're not going to get better at any of those things because you're just so scrambled across the board, right? If you know that this is a weakness of yours, dial it in, right? Focus on that one thing for 4 weeks. It doesn't have to be a long period of time, right? Make sure that that is your sole purpose. If there's a workout that you want to attack, that's what your focus is.
Flight simulator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, we did it twice in probably like a month.
That's
And
crazy.
you could clearly tell the people who were working on it,
Yeah.
they did better,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
And I think that it's easy to fall into the trap as a CrossFit person because you're here. It's such a broad range of skills. If you're not dialing anything in, you're just showing up, like you'll make progress for at least for a while, but throw in like, I'm going to do a local throwdown, right? All of a sudden your training gets way more intense because you are mentally geared towards that thing, or a weightlifting meet, or like anything really. I want to learn how to do double unders. Okay, every time you're in here, all of a sudden there's a rope in your hand, when before it was you avoiding that thing, right? So I think that's a great one because a lot of people spin the wheels a lot. So, yeah.
Scared me for a second.
Training with intention and
Yeah.
Just-
You'll hear me say a lot in classes, I'm not going to be picky until I am. Mostly weightlifting. It's like the purpose of learning is to just get your body comfortable with the movement. I'm not going to be using all the terms you'll hear me use when I coach you or when I coach someone who has so much experience, but focus on learning. That's the purpose when you first come in. Like, I'm not saying if you're in the learning stage, that's your focus, but focus on that for the first 4 weeks, then move on.
Absolutely.
So, and I think this it goes along with saying it all, but you go into a workout, know what your strategy is, how you're going to tackle. I think for the most part, we'll go over as coaches and tell you the stimulus of the workout. And if you're able to already dissect it right from the beginning, I mean, great. As a coach, you watch and you just go, you killed it. You did it at your own style, your own way, because toe-to bars are your weaknesses, whatever it may be. I just saw somebody kill it in there, knowing their strategy right from the beginning. Like, nope, I'm breaking it up this way because I know how this affects me.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Last-
That's a great feeling from a coach. Hearing that,
Yeah.
it's like you learned.
Yeah.
You learned.
Last thing on that, if you don't know the strategy, ask. what a good strategy is. I ask Gio whenever I do CrossFit twice a week. I ask Gio what my strategy is going to be. He knows my strengths. He knows my weaknesses. I don't know a CrossFit strategy to save my life. Gio, what's my strategy? Try not to puke.
Smart.
Who's next?
I think it's Lizzie.
Me. All right, last one. Most important.
No, wait.
Oh,
Yeah?
huh?
Yeah? Okay.
Most important. Now, take it with a grain of salt. It's gonna come off like you need to do this, no questions asked, but follow a program. And I don't mean go buy a program online, and I don't mean you have to do CrossFit programming every day, 7 days a week. What I mean is, we've kind of touched on this throughout all of the other simple things that we've talked about, is know what your goal is and stick to that goal for 4 to 8 weeks. Progressive overload, make it harder for yourself. If you're doing it every day for 8 weeks at the same weight with the same reps, it's too easy. You're not learning, you're not getting better. You need to fail better to suck less. And that's what I mean with follow a program.
Well done.
Yeah. Bang. We can end this right here.
And we're out.
So yeah, follow a program.
Yeah, I think that's actually pretty huge. And I would also say, if you are a coach, I fell into this trap for a very long time. I wrote my own programming for a very long time. And it wasn't until I started branching out and trying other programs that I realized how incredibly bad I was at certain things. And it was good. Like, you don't realize how much you avoid your weaknesses until you have somebody else programming those weaknesses for you.
Right.
Yeah. Single leg.
I would go along with the whole follow a program. At Tough Temple, at the very least, here we have so many different classes to offer, and your program could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday CrossFit, Thursday HIIT with a mix of kettlebell at night, and then you come in on Friday, weekend. Friday is your day off, let's say, and then Saturday you hit barbell. Your program can be whatever you want it to be. Just stick to it.
Yeah.
And not forever.
Exactly. Things can change up.
Yeah.
Things can change. You can,
But do it long enough to see if it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
And I think that's a big thing, where people that have been at other like Globo gyms for a long time, they've come in, they've kind of putzed around on the same equipment forever. And they've done the same 12 exercises maybe total forever. Right. So I think, like, stick on a program that it might be uncomfortable that first week, 2, 3, 4, right? But then you'll start to feel the change happening, and then it gets to be a lot more enjoyable.
And it's worth
What do they call
trying.
that at the Globo gyms?
What's that?
The plateau effect?
Is that what they call? Is that
what
something
it
that
is?
exists?
You do the
Well,
same thing
it's
over
also
and over,
because
you stop.
there's no objective measurement, right?
Yeah,
Like, they're not measuring their rounds and reps. They're not measuring how long it takes them. Like, that's where I think a lot of fitness in the last 10 years, largely thanks to CrossFit, they've made it more objectively measurable and repeatable, and that you can measure your fitness. Right?
Yeah. And easy enough, like a program, like I said, it doesn't have to be something that you buy online, or it doesn't have to be an upper lower split. It can literally be, every Monday I do these 5 exercises, but next week I'm going to add 5 pounds. The week after that, I'm going to add 5 pounds and add 2 reps. Like, just progressively challenge yourself.
For sure.
So important.
Who's next?
Up for grabs.
Steve, take it.
Cool. Yeah. My most important one is have fun, right? We are, not full-time athletes. We're not getting paid to do this. We come to the gym to increase our fitness and see people and have a good time. And that's why I do it. I genuinely enjoy being around you people. So I come to the gym to have a good time, right? That's my way of kind of relaxing after a work day and, on weekends. If I ever get to the point where it's no longer fun for me, bye. No. but like, that is the point, right? Like, I enjoy being here. So don't take things so seriously. Remember your why, right? So why are we here? And, fitness is always a good, side effect or like main effect, right? It's always good to have and to increase that. But for the most of us in our day-to-day lives, it's just to be better every single day.
Yeah,
For sure.
And you guys do that.
Oh,
I make your life better.
Yeah.
You hear that, Gio?
That's great for him.
He's like, that is not my experience.
All right, next.
You.
A little bit tying in with that, it's my most important one, and this is probably geared for me specifically, is stop comparing yourself to others. I cannot stress how much it's affected me, where I've come across points where I've just wanted to stop altogether. Because it can be very daunting when you see so many fit individuals around you, right? And like, I want to do that, right? You know, and this isn't CrossFit Games at level. You know, obviously, if I see one of them and what they're doing on Instagram, like, I know but I'm seeing this person maybe every single day, and they're just dominating every single time. I put myself in that situation. I tried comparing myself. I was like, well, I need to do this. Like, I've been doing this long enough. I should be able to push myself. And I just crash and burn because my body wasn't ready for it, because my mind wasn't ready for it, because I wasn't ready to accept, you know, kind of my limitations at that given point. And yeah, it would wreck me. It would wreck me to a point I just wanted to stop everything altogether, fitness stuff. And that triggered a lot of other things in me. But I feel once I just started focusing on me and being able to say, like, well, you know what? I move really well. When I do a movement, it looks good.
You drop it low.
Like, listen, I'm happy with dropping it low on every means.
That's that full range of motion he was talking about.
Yeah, that full range of motion. But I think also personally what affected me was when I broke my hand, right? There was a lot of things that I could no longer do, right? But because I focused on myself, because I focused on the stuff that I knew one day would come in handy, I was able to do zombie squats, you know, at a crazy amount and still keep myself active.
Yeah.
But by doing that, again, focusing on me, stop comparing yourself, have fun with your training, acknowledge you, treat yourself, be nice to yourself.
I think the you versus you mentality is huge. And if you talk to a lot of athletes, a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes, they'll tell you when they got injured or they had some sort of major setback, it made them a much better athlete. It made them more coachable. It made them a better coach, like all of that, because that hardship and that experience is what shapes you as an athlete and as a coach, for sure. Like, I can speak from my own experience, but like, broke my back, like that. I had to learn how to rehab that. It was like, that was a big thing. It was like, am I ever going to be able to lift again? I don't know, right? Cancer. It was like, there was a period of time, a lot of people don't know this because I didn't talk about it, but there was a period of time probably in the first 4 months or so when I was on chemo last time. I was limping up and down stairs. Like, I could not walk, much less lift. And I didn't touch a barbell for about 4 months. And it was like, this might be my life now. Like that, there was a very real moment there where it was like, that might be it. And mentally, I've always framed my identity as a person around being a very physically active person and a coach. Like, I've been teaching in one capacity or another since I was 13, right? And that mentally was not easy. It was really tough. But 100% coming out of that, it made me a better coach. It made me a more empathetic coach. It made me a much more aware person, because I had to look and see for like the things you're talking about in terms of people struggling with what they're putting their self through, their own self-talk, like all that stuff. It's massive.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big thing.
Yeah. My own experience with it is like, the sooner you can learn to make it a you versus you and not a you versus them or you versus the people that you see, the sooner you can learn how to do that, you're happier in all facets of life. I mean, I'll be honest, I've worked with a therapist for years on this. And the sooner you realize that nobody really cares what you're doing, the easier it is.
Yeah.
And the sooner you realize everyone needs therapy.
I love my therapist.
Well, I feel like we could end it right there, but we have one more, and it's mine. I
ruined everything.
selfishly took the last one. I feel like we should have ended this one.
Love it.
But this ties into our core values. We talk about community, consistency and character. Consistency for me, in all the years that I've been coaching, consistency is the one factor that I think has the most determination over your long-term progress. And my thing is show up 4 to 5 days a week to work out. Whether it's here or it's going for a hike or it's going for a swim or whatever it is, 4 to 5 days a week, move your ass more than you're not moving it, right? So there shouldn't be this like 4 days or 5 days of nothing. It should be 4 to 5 days a week, you're doing something. And having a place like this is great because the community keeps you more engaged. It's more fun, right? There's all of that stuff. But I think that just holding yourself accountable to showing up, like it's not always going to be your best day. That's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Just show up for 4 to
Yeah.
5 days a week and you will make way more progress over the long term. Because you'll make progress even on the days where you feel like you're wasting your time.
Yep.
You're still getting something from that. It's worth it.
And the sooner you make a habit of it, the less it feels like a job.
Oh, for
The
sure.
less you feel like you have to get out of bed and go to the gym versus this is just what I do
Absolutely.
every day.
Absolutely.
Genuinely
So.
look forward to coming here. You know, it's always a fun time.
And I think it's important, like you were saying, like if you're measuring the wrong way, how you feel about showing up is going to change.
Yeah.
Right. So if you find yourself not enjoying it, right, there's a reason,
Absolutely.
and you need to reframe something, right?
And that's okay.
Mhm.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's okay. Like when I first started here, I really wanted to get back into weightlifting.
Mhm.
And then 3-4 weeks ago, I realized I hate coming to the gym. But I don't hate coming to the gym. I was frustrated with weightlifting.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not been weightlifting.
Right.
Now,
And that's-
CrossFit girly.
I'm a CrossFit girl, cardio queen, and that's okay.
Did you ever think you were going to say any of those things?
Yeah. Before you met me, I ran a half marathon.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a CrossFit girly.
CrossFit girly.
Like Lizzie 5 years ago? No way would have said that.
I think it's also, what you were alluding to a little bit too. I think when people look forward to coming to the gym, we've also helped out on the mental approach for people wanting to get back into the gym as well. And some people I've had to say, listen, put your scores in SugarWOD. Great. Stop looking at the leaderboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Stop looking at the leaderboard at the end of the day. And some people feel defeated by that.
Yeah.
I'm like, number one, right? Some of y'all would be lying. All right. And
Shots.
Tell them,
And-
Gene.
Fired.
Tell 'em.
and I've said it in plenty of my classes, like, sometimes your full push-ups were not full push-ups.
Yeah.
But anybody could do that in
Yeah.
any given class,
Yeah.
right? And then you're comparing that, and you ultimately may have the better form. Show up, have fun. That consistent factor will come in handy. You're going to see the best improvements by it. But again, with all the other stuff that we're saying, have fun. Don't compare yourself. Show up. This is therapy for me.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know? And I look forward to that every single day.
Yeah, 100%. Me
So
too.
yeah, if you're consistent, you'll fail better, suck less. Wow, I kill it every week.
You're doing it twice, though. It's
Sorry.
It's like too much.
I'm not gonna lie, my hip's been cramping this whole time. It's been really bad.
All right.
Well,
That's it for this
That
week.
was great. Thank you guys so much. Again, Steve, why don't you give us tell the people what to do?
Yeah. So check us out on
The
YouTube.
microphone.
Oh,
He just grabbed it from you.
Oh.
He fist bumped you and took the
Took
mic
the
at the
mic.
same
Yeah,
time.
there you go.
He's ahead of things.
yeah. So check us out on Spotify and on YouTube soon, hopefully on Apple.
We're on Apple.
We're on
now.
Apple.
We're on
Apple.
Apple now.
We're on Apple.
We're
We're on
An apple a
all of
day.
them.
We're
Apple.
officially
Okay,
official.
we're officially on Apple. But yeah, just give us a like, a subscribe, share, follow. Let us know what you want us to talk about next, and have a good
Comment.
time.
Leave a comment. We can't thank you guys enough, honestly, for all the feedback, for sharing. We've seen a bunch of people show some love on Instagram, being able to share this stuff. Just greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to be part of your lives, not just in the gym, but at home, wherever you guys may listen to your podcast. We appreciate it.
Don't make it weird.
I'd like to formally apologize for calling Gio Kanye
Let's
last
stay
week.
friends.